I recently watched one of the worst films ever made, and I wanted to review it. This came out a few years ago. It's called Music, and this is the main character of that film. Well, kind of not really. She's more of a prop. She's more of a stereotype, a caricature. She is named Music, and she is supposed to be a representation of autism, but she goes full Robert Downey Jr. here, and it is offensive. It is absurd. It is ridiculous. This movie was made by Sia, the musician, the singer, and this is the girl from her like music videos, like Chandelier, the little girl dancing. The character is like a teenager. It's just absurd. She's just a prop. That's all the character is. She's just a prop. Now she lives with her sister. She was living with her mom, but then her mom passed away at the start of the movie. And then her sister moves in, and they've been kind of estranged for years. So this teenager, who we can only assume is like 14, her older sister is like this 50-year-old Kate Hudson, but she's bald, so let's just pretend she's 20. Yeah, whatever. They have her in these like ridiculous... She dresses like a provocative 20-year-old, so at least that adds a little bit of entertainment value. And you're actually going to get a lot of watchability. I recommend you watch this with a friend or a family member who can enjoy roasting a movie, watching something that's absolutely terrible. There is so many things in this movie that make no sense. None of the characters behave like humans. There's the next door neighbor in their apartment building who's this guy who, guess what disease he has? I'll give you a hint. He's from Africa. So he must have AIDS, right? Sure. Okay. Like, everything in this movie is so absurdly offensive. Everyone's a stereotype. It is absolute garbage. Now, this movie's also a musical, but not really. It's in this, like, half wants to be a musical, but not really. It's kind of just these strange music videos are just out of place. They're placed in there completely out of place. And they're just bizarre, colorful Sia music videos. They don't make any sense. They don't add anything to the story. Maybe one or two of the, like, 12 that there are kind of like express what the characters are going through, but the one where it does that the most is with this weird Play-Doh guy who lives in the like apartment building across the way, who's always creeping on music, who, keep in mind, is like a 14-year-old child, but there is this guy who looks like he's a 40-year-old like Asian dude who just stares at her and at night shines a flashlight from across the street from opposing apartment buildings, shines a flashlight. This is like the world's most powerful flashlight. It's like a spotlight that he holds in his hand, and shines light into her window, which illuminates her like dog crap that she has taped up on her walls, and this makes her happy. But how would this creepy stalker, who like never really talks to her, just stares at her from across the street or from his window, this Play-Doh, this diddler, just stares at this mentally challenged girl. And it's like the movie wants you to think as though this is like a nice or reasonable thing, like this guy's a good guy. And then he has this whole subplot where he trains in boxing because AIDSman here trains him in boxing, but not really. And then like the guy finally gets the chance to box, but gets clapped out in the most insane way you possibly could. Everything doesn't make sense. Horribly offensive. but it's funny to laugh at, right? Like, it is so terrible. It doesn't even, like, accidentally get things right. Like, the movie Troll 2 is a terrible movie, but it accidentally does things hilariously. Like, it stumbles upon doing things right and doing things that weirdly fit together in their insanity. This is just like incompetence. This is just laziness. This is just not wanting to stick to the format of a musical. Just doing this soft musical, not really a musical, but trying to have the like surrealness that often exists in a musical without committing. Because the thing is, the songs are just so short. And so yeah, I watched this movie like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, wow, this is one of the crappiest movies I've seen in a while. It's probably going to be like 2 years before I see a movie this crappy. But shockingly, I watched something that's even worse. And is also a half non-committed musical. Like, it's pretends to be a musical, but it's not. It doesn't commit to the musical format. The music doesn't add anything either. Shockingly, alright, first of all, in music, there's John Ralphio playing, like, the guy's playing John Ralphio, and he's Kate Hudson's boss. I forgot to mention that. Crazy. I'm glad he's there. But the movie that I watched was Joker 2. Holy crap. Now, this movie, terrible reviews. Like, roasted. Nobody liked this movie. No one liked this movie. And a lot of people theorized that this movie was just them trolling, just them intentionally spitting in the face of fans, intentionally making a terrible movie. And I think that's certainly the case. But why? I have no idea why. And it offends me as somebody who's involved with filmmaking that you would strip the opportunity for success and quality away from everyone involved. The cast, the crew. Like, I get it, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, they're famous enough to where they don't care. They can be in a total bomb, disaster, piece of trash, terrible, one of the worst films ever made. They can do that and it not affect their career even a tiny bit. They're that level of star, but why? Why would you do that? It's so terrible. It's like they had two sets. It's like if you gave a random person who's never been involved with like any kind of storytelling, creativity, filmmaking of any kind, video making of any kind, if you gave them like 2 days and 2 sets and said, make Joker 2, go. Here's some actors, here's some budget, go. Because there's this crappy jail set. Like, this is supposed to be like Arkham Asylum, but it's like this generic crappy jail that they... It's got to be like a set. It's so lame, uninteresting looking. There's nothing good about this movie. Nothing like looks good. Nothing's well done at any point. So you see this jail that's uninteresting. That's nothing like Arkham Asylum. Then there's this courtroom. They keep going to this courtroom, and it's just so boring. It's just them talking about the events of the first film. Why would they do this? Well, they bring in actors from the first film, like the characters from the first film show up, like the people who worked with Arthur Fleck, the neighbor who he thought he was in a relationship with, or thought he was in like a situationship with, or whatever. Why would you do this? And instantly, like when he meets Harley Quinn in Arkham Asylum, this lame, most generic, shitty set of a prison you've ever seen, with no style to it. Like, even Harley Quinn, this is like the most Harley Quinn that she looks in the entire film. Oh my god. it's just so freaking uninteresting. So he meets her, and she's nothing like Harley Quinn. Like, nothing at all like Harley Quinn. She's not the Harley Quinn character whatsoever. It's so clear that it's not happening, right? Just like in the first movie, where he is, like, having a thing with the neighbor, you can instantly tell in this movie that this isn't even happening. He's probably not even meeting her. She's probably not even there. This is just insanity in this guy's head. But the problem is that you're stuck in this, like, crappy prison where you don't care about anything that's going on. And again, why would you do that? And it kind of also retroactively, because, like, nothing happens in this movie. They just talk about the events of the first movie. And, like, there's a trial, but it's just... nothing in this movie is, like, actually happening within the world of the movie. Like, this is all just the delusional psychosis of Arthur Fleck. And it's so obvious that, like, nothing's happening. It just takes away not only from any entertainment that might have been possible in this film, but it just takes away from the first film. And people theorize that the entire intention of this film is to do exactly that. But, like, why? You're just guaranteeing that there won't be a Joker 3. That this, what could have been a, like, successful cinematic universe, it just you're just erasing it. Right? Like, I kind of like the idea of having all of these different cinematic universes exist, right? Because you have this Joker universe. Because the first Joker film is actually good, but it's its own thing. You have the Robert Pattinson and, like, Batman with the Penguin show. And then you have the, like, DCEU, the Batfleck. And I guess Jared Leto. But, you know, like, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. You have that universe. That would be cool. Like, you actually had something good with the first film, and you just do this dog crap with the second film. You're guaranteeing that, like, these people could have continued. They could have turned this into a franchise, into a career. These people could have made a lot of money. You're guaranteeing that everyone involved in this is making less money than they could, and they're missing out on the opportunity of being a part of something that's actually good. There is nothing... Everything about this movie is so poor quality. The effects... It's like they spent $1 million on practical effects and $1 million on digital effects. And probably because it's Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix, I could see spending, honestly, with what they do in this movie. Like, you have them on 2 sets. You could film this in, like, 2 days. There's no commitment here. There's no effort put in. So I could not see giving these two... I would not give them a cent more than $500,000. And that's just because, like, I feel like you would have to. Because they're the stars and they're famous people, right? Like, it's Joaquin Phoenix. And he kicked ass in the first movie. So give them $500,000 a piece. But nothing more. Not a cent more. I wouldn't say that they, like, earned it. But they probably made way more than that. But nothing was done well in this film. Nothing. It's amazing how crappy this movie is. Somehow it's worse than music. Even music had, like, some interesting choices. At least there's, like, some entertainment value. The Joker 2 just looks like crap. It smells like crap. The story is non-existent. It's just retreading the first one. It's just in a courtroom talking about the first one. And then Arthur Fleck is having a bad time in jail. But not like an interesting, this is the Joker, I'm a crazy person in this crazy, interesting jail. No, it's the most generic jail. There's no Joker. There's no... Because Harley Quinn only exists in this guy's head, and it's obvious from, like, the moment you see her, this is just a crazy guy. And this isn't even Gotham. When you, like, there's no Gotham, there's no anything related, and it's so disgusting because not only does that shit upon everyone who was involved in the first film, everyone who was involved in this film, but also people who could have potentially been involved with a third film or all of a sudden there's another Batman movie. Like, you're just taking a dump on something that was, like, decent. I don't... There's no reason for it. There's no logic for it. Just to take away that opportunity from probably, like, over 100 people involved with making this film. You just slap them right in the face. Like, this should not have been made. This is crap. No one watched this ever under any circumstance. Now, funnily enough, Joker 2, a movie about Arthur Fleck, the clown, the killer clown, this movie got raffle stomped. It got demolished, right? Because 7 days later, guess what came out? A movie that instead of about Arthur Fleck, the clown, killer clown, it's about Art the clown. A real killer clown. A movie that... Now, I heard that with marketing, the budget was higher than $2 million. It could have been around $5 million. But that's like maximum. Like, it was under $5 million in total. Terrifier 3. It made $90 million in its box office. And this is like a relatively small horror franchise, right? Like, it is nothing compared to the real big boys of the horror genre. Like he's no Jason, he's no Freddy, he's no Chucky, but he's making his way. He's knocking on the door of being there, because this movie Terrifier 3, oh my god, what they do with a $2 million budget, like, everything about it is so enormously superior to Joker 2. It's insane. Like, even down to the, like, just the effects, the costumes, the makeup is a million times better. Like, it's passionate people making something of quality, something awesome, pushing the boundaries. Whereas Joker 2 is just this lazy slop that lost like $100 million in its box office. Hilarious that you have this thing as big as the Joker, the freaking Joker, one of the biggest, like, characters in all of superhero fiction, potentially the biggest villain in all of superhero fiction, right? Because what other villains even have their own movies? Nonetheless, 2. I don't even think that there is a supervillain of that magnitude. So yeah, like, it's just insane. Like, this was insane when it's happening. Like, even with Joker 2 being one of the genuine, like, worst, possibly like bottom 5 films ever made, it's still surprising that it got so demolished in the box office. And wow, like, I can't believe this got made. I can't believe that anyone involved in this would allow this to happen. Like, how did no one stop them? How did no one at any point say, alright, what we're making here is dog crap. Let's at least try to make something, like, remotely entertaining. Like, how does it not click in your head that, like, something about what you're making should be at least a tiny bit good? At least something. One aspect, one thing about it should be not completely terrible. I don't get it. I don't get what they were trying to do with Joker 2. It shouldn't exist. It's bullcrap. Watch Terrifier 3. Watch Terrifier 3 with somebody. Holy crap, watching that movie in theaters, Terrifier 3, the crowd reaction was amazing. And watch music with somebody. Don't watch music alone. It's going to be a terrible experience. But watching it with somebody, hilarious. Watching Terrifier 3, oh my god. Like, I love showing people this movie because it is so much more gory than what people are used to. Even even my family, right? Like, we've always been into horror, but they never got like as deep into it as I have, and I enjoyed showing them this. But I would never. There's no circumstance where Joker 2 would have any watchability or any entertainment value. Even as like a terrible film, it gives you nothing. Dog water. Absolute dog water.